Okay, we're here with Marvin Al Wambach, aka Baki, in Cartwright, North Dakota. Grandpa, we're just going to do a little interview. I want to first ask you, Grandpa, how you got involved with the military. So can you tell us what age you were and why you signed up and how you got enlisted? Grandpa?
When I was 17, I dropped out of my senior year and went to Seattle and went to work for Boeing. And me and another kid. Well, a lot of them dropped out. Matter of fact, all the boys in that class, there was about 30 in there, all the boys except 2 graduated. I mean, didn't graduate. Only those 2 graduated from that class. That's before, at World War II. And they all went either to the shipyards in Portland or the Boeings in Seattle and worked in war effort. So we was out there for about 3 months, and gas was rationed. We didn't have a car, but we had a friend that had a car. So we told some other ones working in the plant. We was doing nacelle rework, and they was kicking out about 14 of the day shift for the B-17. So we done about 16 of them, and then we told the shift that come on to check us out, and we left. We got in the car and went down to Olympia, Washington. So the next day we went to work, and them buggers that was on the next shift said that they done all them nacelles, and we left there short, and they was short on nacelles. So that's where the engine mounts on. 4 engines mount on it. Each one mounts on a nacelle that's fastened to the wing. And you have to drill all the holes. You put it in a jig and drill the holes so the engine bolts on where the engine bolts on. So they said, well, now we're gonna write you up for neglecting your job, and we're going to turn you over to the draft board. So we told them, yeah, you just go right ahead and do all that stuff that you want to. I said, we're 17 years old. They're not going to draft us. So then we just we didn't go to work. We went down on Pier 14. And we got a job down there with the Liquor Control Board. And we was unloading ships and railroad cars with liquor. And a lot of it was going out, and a lot of that rum and things like that was coming in on ships. And we worked there for about 3 months. Now maybe about like 2.5 months. And we was the young ones there, and we got acquainted with those guys. A lot of them was working on the fishing boats in the summertime going up into the Aleutians. So they wanted, Tony Peterson and I was doing like if they had a hard job to do, them old guys wanted us to do it. And boy, they were really buddying up to us. They wanted to take us on those fishing boats up into the Aleutians. So we agreed, got all signed up for the boat. We was going to get, the crew was going to get, I forget if it was a half or a third. No, they was going to get half. The crew was going to get half, and the ship and the boat kept half, the profits. And we was going to take everything that we caught into a canning factory at Dutch Harbor. So we was really planning on that. Well, about the time, I would say like March, April, long in there, I don't remember just what month it was, but the Japanese hit on the Aleutians. Well, then the government said no ships in the fishing, no fishing ships in the Aleutian Islands. And they sent the
What year was that, Grandpa?
1944.
1944.
Yeah. So we knew then that we wouldn't be going on this fishing trip. And all those other guys was down in the dumps with those older guys too, you know, because that was their main. They made good money out of it, to hear them tell. They didn't. It was I forget what it was, but it was a heck of a lot more than you never make in shipyards or working for Boeing.
Now you had did you have any friends? You had some brothers that were in the war at this time, didn't you?
I had one.
You had one. Who was in the war at that time?
Marion.
Marion. Where was he stationed?
He was stationed down in Texas. He was a holdover.
Oh, okay.
Training other ones. And
at that point, did you think you were eventually going to be in the military?
Well, I knew I was.
You knew you were.
So I went home, and I had worked for Moe's, like in Harvest and places like that, Moe Chevrolet. They had a big farm there. And I worked in the garage, and I also worked on the farm. And I went to work for them. Well, and I bet you we hauled 40,000 bushel of wheat and flax into the elevator that spring, into the elevators in Poplar, and Brockton. Tony and I, with their trucks. And then we thought some of the other guys would start coming home from Portland, that was working in the shipyards. And we all said, the Navy recruiter would come there. Well, I get a little ahead of myself here. Moe's, I was working for Moe's, but Ray Lang was a Studebaker dealer. And he was on the draft board. So I went over there from Moe's one day, and I wanted to get some parts for a car that I had tore down.
Did you find a bag for these towels?
And I told him that, he asked me, what are you doing now? And I said, I'm working for Moe's right now. And he said, well, I was still 17. That was before May 31st. And he said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you come to work for me, I'll get you a deferment because I'm on the draft board. He said that.
Deferment. He couldn't guarantee you wouldn't get drafted, but he could defer it?
Yeah, he said.
How long could he defer it for, do you think?
Well, forever.
Forever?
Yeah. And I said, well, I don't think I want to do that. I said, well, he said, Moe can't get you deferment. He's not on the draft board. So then these other guys was all coming back from, it was all 17 years old. It was all coming back from Portland and Seattle and places like that. Well, a Navy recruiter come into town. So they said, let's join the Navy. So we all went up to the Indian Agency hospital, and they'd give us a physical and all this. And they said, then they read us off. I don't know how they've done it, but anyway, there was I would say at least 6 or maybe 8 of us. And I think there was probably 4 of us that passed for the Navy. So then it was my best friends of mine.
Did you pass?
Yeah, I passed.
Yeah.
Best friends of mine didn't pass. So they said, well, let's wait. So the Navy recruiter said,
What were some of the reasons they didn't pass him for?
colorblind, poor eyesight, flat feet. Now I don't remember what all they were. But anyway, the one who was my best friend, he had poor eyesight. And so anyway, well, I said, well, I told that recruiter, I'm not gonna. I don't think, oh yeah, he wanted us to step forward out of civilian life into the military, and I wouldn't do it. See, they had us lined up there, the ones that they wanted to, and then they was gonna, swear us into the military. And I didn't do it. I said, I've changed my mind, I'm not gonna go into the Navy. Well, you'll be sorry. Then he said, I'll turn you over to the draft board right now. So he did. So Sage, and his name was Sage, Larry Sage. So we went up to Old Point and volunteered for immediate induction. And he sent us down to Fort Douglas, Utah. And on the train there was a bunch of guys, other guys going on there. And
was this for the Army though? This wasn't for the Navy, right?
It could be, you
It
go
could
to
be
any
anywhere.
place from that, Fort
Okay.
Douglas. They assigned you from there wherever they needed men.
Okay.
They hadn't. Them kids are out there